Hi, I'm Randy. Today I'm going to make red velvet cupcakes with cream cheese frosting and filling. And before you do anything, you want to preheat your oven to 350 and wash your hands. Okay, and after you wash your hands, you want to make sure you have all your ingredients together: the oil, eggs, pudding, the secret ingredient, and your measuring cups and spatulas and all of that. So first, just follow the directions on the back of the cake box. It's kind of cheating, but if you add instant pudding to it, dry, it's the greatest thing ever. Blend cake mix, water, and oil in a large bowl. Let's do that. 3 eggs. And 1 1/4 cups of water. And it doesn't really matter if you use liquid measuring cups or dry measuring cups because it's the same measurement. You don't have to get all technical. Whatever you have is fine. After you add the water, add 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. And then the secret weapon, instant pudding. That's how the cake stays super moist, and it's so good. And then you just want to blend it together. And scrape the sides with a spatula to get all the extra ingredients off the sides of the bowl. And when you're done, it should be smooth and you shouldn't see any bumps in it. That's what the mixer is for. It's harder to mix by hand, so that's why I use an electric mixer. And a trick to get all the cake batter off of it is to slowly raise it up while the mixer is still spinning, so they come out clean. And your cake mix should look like this. Okay, now that the cake mix is done, you want to grease the cupcake pan. Even though you're going to put little trays in it, it's still good so it doesn't burn on the sides. And this pan is like my best friend. Mini cupcakes are great, and that means more people can have them, so that's why I use it so much. And my favorite way to put batter in the pan is just using a regular spoon and pushing it off with your fingers. Since you wash them, it's clean and don't worry about it. Just take a little spoonful and push it in. And you want to repeat this step until all the batter is gone. And now that this tray is done, the oven is ready, and you just want to bake it for about 20 minutes, and they should be done. Now that the cupcakes are in the oven, you want to get started making the frosting, which is really simple. It's just an 8-ounce block of cream cheese. You want that softened, and you're going to need a few spoonfuls of Cool Whip, which also has to be like softened, not frozen. And you can add as much powdered sugar as you want, but it depends on what you like. So I don't have a real recipe for this. I just kind of throw it all together. And it doesn't matter what order you put the ingredients in, you just need to have at least 8 ounces of cream cheese. And you want to make sure it's not too soft, make sure it's kind of still has some, it's kind of still hard. And I always use almost all of this. I mean, the more Cool Whip, the better. It's kind of add what you want and then taste it until you like it. That's how I do it. And you don't have to keep the frosting cold either after it's made, so that's great. And because the powdered sugar is sifted, it's gonna go everywhere, so. And you'll probably have a problem with the cream cheese getting stuck to the side. Just use a spoon or a spatula or whichever you prefer. My spatulas are dirty, so I'm using a spoon. And it should be nice and white and fluffy. And if it feels a little too thick and it's hard to turn the bowl, you want to add more Cool Whip, so it's a lighter, fluffy frosting. And this is the same stuff you will ice it and fill it with. And again, to make sure everything's nice and mixed. And it should be really fluffy and white and delicious. There, again, to get everything off, slowly raise the mixers. And voila! You have cream cheese frosting. Oh wow, those are big cupcakes. And once you take them out of the oven, just put them on a cooling rack so they cool off faster. Like that. And once you take the cupcakes out of the oven and they're on a cooling rack, make sure you let them cool for a minimum of 15 minutes because you don't want the icing to melt when you fill them. So now that the cupcakes are all cooled and ready to ice, you want to take the delicious frosting that you just made, or I just made, and you want to put it into a decorating bag. And it's easiest to fold the edges down so you can fill it without getting it all over the place. And once you have it filled, just roll the sides back up like this, and make sure all the frosting goes down into the tip so it doesn't squirt up and get all over your hands. And then you're ready to fill your cupcakes. And push the tip inside and squeeze until the frosting comes out the top. And you want to do that until all your cupcakes are filled. And then of course, if you run out of frosting, just put more in the bag. And it doesn't really matter what kind of tip you have. You just want to make sure it's big enough that it'll actually look like it has filling when you bite into the cupcake. And it doesn't matter how much frosting is on top of the cupcake because you're going to cover it up with icing anyway. And nobody will ever know it's in there. All done. And basically just let them sit for a minute and get settled, and then just start icing the top. Okay, now that your cupcakes are filled, all you have to do is ice the top, which is pretty simple. You just want to change the tip on your decorating bag and then refill it with frosting, and make sure you get as much as you can in there because it's gonna suck if you get halfway through decorating a cupcake and you run out of frosting. And you want to make sure that there's no air bubbles in the decorating bag, because that could cause problems. Make sure all the icing's down in there. And it doesn't matter what kind of tip you use, just whatever you think is pretty or whichever one you like better works. And I start on the outside, but you can start wherever you want. And then you have a cute little decorated cupcake. And sometimes I like to put chocolate shavings or chocolate chips on top just to make them look even prettier. But that's better when you're making big cupcakes, not little ones. And then repeat until all your cupcakes are iced. Now that is how you make red velvet cupcakes with cream cheese frosting and filling. And I'm Randy. Thanks for watching.